Hi guys, how are you? I hope everybody is fine there. Today I am recording a lecture in the playlist for the subject linguistics, and in this connection we have got the subject phonology, which is a broad term. In phonology it would be our second lecture. Previously we have recorded one lecture in phonology and different topics have been discussed over there. So let's discuss phonology today in the second lecture. In this lecture we have to discuss about the natural class of phonemes. The students of linguistics might have heard this word. Of course they have heard this word, natural class of phonemes, but it is some sort of tricky topic which has to be focused very well in order to understand it. Natural class of phonemes means it's a set of phonemes, and that set of phonemes naturally have some features in common. Those features, distinctive features, are, for example, voicing, place of articulation, manner of articulation. So these features together, when some phonemes have similar features, so we keep them in one set or keep them together and give them name as natural class of phonemes. And why is it important? It is important actually in the phonological processes, they behave in same manner. I'll be giving you examples shortly about their phonological processes where they give same sort of behavior or they show same sort of behavior. See, for example, we have got one set of phonemes like p, like t, like k. So these phonemes, when we find that these particular three phonemes, they have some distinctive features in common. For example, they are voiceless. All these three are voiceless. As far as the places of articulation are concerned, they have different places. Like the first one, p, is produced as both lips, whereas t sound is produced at alveolar ridge, and the final k sound is produced at alveolar velum, at the back of the mouth. So these three have got one feature in common, that is they are voiceless. The second feature that is common, they share this common feature, that is they are stops. Means when they are produced, we hold our airflow in the mouth completely and we release it. So they are called stops or plosives. So these three particular phonemes have two distinctive features in common, that is they are voiceless and they are plosives or stops. So these two particular features, bring them together in one group or class, we name it as natural class. Why is it called natural class? Because naturally these two particular features of this group, this class exist. Fine. So let's have some examples of these three particular phonemes. The first, as we have already mentioned, that they are voiceless. The second, they are stops or plosives. So these two are common, whereas the places of articulation for these three is different. So natural class of phonemes, actually, why are they discussed? Why are they important to be discussed? They are important because when we see their occurrence, their mean patterns, so they behave similar fashion. How do they similar fashion behavior they have? See this example. Now we see the plural forms, for example, cat, where the word ends at t sound, and caps, where the word or the syllable ends at p sound, and whereas the word cakes, the word ends at k sound. Similar to the three p, t, k natural class, these words at the phonemes of one natural class. You can see There are plural forms everywhere in these three words or other words which are ending at these three particular phonemes. So the plural form S or the morpheme S, that is pronounced as S, right? Whereas we see with dogs and other words like bags, that is pronounced, the plural morpheme S is pronounced as Z. So why? They behave similar, so they belong to one natural class, so they behave in similar fashion as we see here. All words ending at these three particular phonemes, they would sound, their plural would sound or may sound, should sound rather, as S, right? Okay. Now we do not have only this particular natural class, we have some other natural classes as well. For example, the one natural class we know is voiced snorant nasals, in which we have three members, right, three phonemes, ng. These three are nasals and they are voiced, so they make one natural class. Similarly, we have another natural class in which three members or three phonemes are there, like b, d, g, right? These three particular phonemes make this natural class called voiced stops. Fine. So let's know about the complementary distribution. What is complementary distribution? We know about distribution. Distribution means to divide things into equal halves. But here in the linguistics, we mean by the complementary. Complementary means essential, like. So essential distribution. What is essential distribution here? It is actually the relationship between two particular allophones. What is allophone? Allophone, we know that it's the set of phonemes of one particular phoneme, means phonetic variations, right, or phonetical variants of one phoneme is termed as allophones. Fine. The different allophones, for example, two allophones of one phoneme, their relationship, right, is termed as complementary distribution. And this is important to know, that this relationship between the two allophones of a single phoneme is in connection with its phonetic environment. And phonetic environment we know is the phonemes around, means the particular allophone of a phoneme, it occurs in an environment. Of course, there would be phonemes around it. So in that particular environment where this allophone of a single phoneme exists, whether other allophones of the same phoneme exist in that environment or not, this is to be understood. Fine. In this relationship, what happens? One phoneme occurs in a different environment and never in the same one. For example, let's give you an example in order to make it clear. For example, t is a phoneme. That phoneme has different variants. One of the variants is the aspirated t. What is aspirated t? Means when we pronounce t, right, in particular words, that should give like aspiration. Aspiration means we would pronounce it with a puff of air, with puff of air. So this allophone that occurs in words with a puff of air should always be in the either in the beginning of the word or beginning of the syllable, and that syllable has to be stressed. So a syllable that begins with the stressed sound and t is there, and that sound is t, it has to be pronounced with a puff of air. See the examples we will be having here. Soon I will discuss with you. You have to understand here, this t sound which is pronounced with a puff of air has one particular position, placement, environment, and that environment, if we change the environment, that would not be aspirated then. If it is coming in the beginning of the syllable, stressed syllable, it is with the puff of air. If it is occurring somewhere else, not in the beginning of the stressed syllables, it would not be with puff of air. See this example. For example, see the word top. So it is the beginning of the syllable. It is aspirated here. Means when we say the word top, we can experience that with the saying of pronunciation of t sound, we are releasing a puff of air too. Similarly, when we say attack, so is one syllable, but t sound is coming in second syllable, in the beginning of the second syllable, and here again it is pronounced with a puff of air. Attack, like hissing sound is there. Similarly, the word pretend, this t is occurring in the beginning of the second syllable here in the word pretend, and t sound here is again pronounced with a puff of air. Similarly, in the word retain, we can find the t sound is occurring in the beginning of the second syllable, tain, and it is being pronounced with a puff of air. So this is called aspirated t. Whenever it is aspirated, it has to be in the beginning of a syllable. See, here we have written yes. If it is in the beginning of the syllable, it is aspirated. If it is not in the beginning of the syllable, it is somewhere else, then it is not aspirated, then it is not aspirated. Okay. The other version of t sound, means the allophone, is, for example, unaspirated. The t without h here is unaspirated, means no puff of air with the production of this particular t in the words. So if it is pronounced without aspiration, without a puff of air, it should not be in the beginning of the word then, or syllable in the syllable. Whereas if it changes its place, it comes somewhere else in the syllable, it can be pronounced, or it is pronounced rather, without puff of air. I hope that you understand all this discussion regarding the complementary distribution. So we also come to know about minimal pairs, or we also name them as contrastive distribution. What is minimal pair or contrastive distribution? Pair we understand, that couple means two. So a pair of words that have different meanings, fine, and that those two words which have different meaning but they are identical, means they are equally similar. How are they similar? But only one exception is there, that they have difference of exception of one phoneme. Means two words with different meanings, and those two words are very much identical in form except for one phoneme difference, and that phoneme which is different in both of the words, it occurs at the same places in both words, and that particular pair is termed as minimal pair. We can find now. See, let me give you first the example, then I'll go back there. See these words, cap, like cap and cap. What's the difference between these two words? These two words have different meanings. We understand. Cap is something to wear, cab is something to travel in. A car, like. So cap and cab have identical form except for one phoneme, that is p and b. They are different here only. And p, where the p is occurring at the same place in the next word, b is occurring. So two words with different meaning that are identical in form except for one phoneme, and that phoneme occurs at one place in each word. This pair is termed as minimal pair. Similarly, we have fan, when. In fan and when, we can find that both these two words, they are identical in form, but for one exception, that the f in the first word occurs at the beginning, whereas in the second word v sound is beginning in the beginning of the second word. This difference between the two words is making them different, and they have different meaning. So this pair is again termed as minimal pair. Let's go back to the previous slide where we have something important to discuss. Why do we use these minimal pairs. Why are we make minimal pairs? Actually, we have to determine, we have to show, we have to differentiate between two words. And how do we differentiate? We differentiate between two words, and that differentiation is the contrastive property. Contrast means that entirely opposite or entirely different. So this is the property in which we can find it through minimal pairing of the phonemes, when we pair them and when we see the difference in them, and that is one contrast. So the property, that contrastive property, actually help us in determining, right, the difference between two phoneme words. And at the same time, it is important that we come to know that particular phonemes exist in language. Okay, so we have discussed this particular example. Let's see some other examples as well. Bat, like bat and beat. What's the difference between these two? The middle vowel sound of both is different. Otherwise, the words are same, but they have different meaning because of one difference of one phoneme. A and E, these two now vowels are actually making the difference, and these are two phonemes that are occurring in the middle of both words. Similarly, we have words sit and sing. What's the difference between these two? These two words, this pair rather, has one difference of t and ng sound. Otherwise, they could be identical, and this difference of one phoneme is changing their meaning. So we can see a phoneme actually is a minimal unit of phoneme, as we have already understood in the previous lectures, that it is a unit, right? And it's the unit of we can observe the change in the meaning with the change in the phoneme. Similarly, we have got word myth and mick. What is the difference between these two? We can see again th, right, phoneme in the first word at the end of the word, whereas in k sound, k phoneme at the end of the second. So these two phonemes are making the difference in the words, and they have the different meaning. Okay. Further, we can compare between the complementary distribution and the minimal pairs. Here you see the complementary distribution and the minimal pairs, right? Here we see in the complementary distribution we have allophones of the same phoneme. For example, the allophones, same phoneme allophones like t in the previous examples we found the phoneme is same, like t aspirated and unaspirated, right? As far as the phonological status of the phonemes is concerned, in complementary distribution we have same phoneme, and they are the allophones of same phoneme. Whereas in the contrastive distribution we have different phonemes, right? The overlapping occurs in contrastive distribution, means overlap, the sounds can overlap, but in complementary distribution they have entirely different place. If their environment is different, so there is no chances of overlapping. So as far as the environment is concerned, for the complementary distribution they have different environment. For example, aspirated T comes at the beginning of the syllable, whereas the unaspirated T will never come in the beginning of the syllable, rather it will come somewhere else. Whereas in the contrastive distribution, we have just found in the previous examples, in the above examples, that the environment is same for two phonemes. If it is the first phoneme, in the second word it would be the first. If it is the middle phoneme, in the second word it would be the middle phoneme. If it is the last phoneme in the word, it would be the last phoneme in the next word too. So environment is same for contrastive distribution or minimal pairing. So this contrastive distribution is actually minimal pairing. Finally, we came to know that in the complementary distribution meaning does not change, right? With aspirated T or with unaspirated T, it doesn't make any difference for the meaning. Whereas in contrastive distribution we found that there is a change in meaning. like cab and cap. We found that b and p in both words makes the difference for the final phoneme. That difference in the final phoneme actually changed the meanings as well. Okay. And let's discuss the minimal sets. We have understood minimal pairs. Minimal pairs means two phonemes, here, two words. Here we have more than two words. So a set of two words, more than two words, sorry, that have different meaning, but they are identical in form for one phoneme, except for one phoneme, which occurs at the same place or environment, we call it, in each word, is said to be minimal sets. See, for example, the word fig, pig, dig, wig, big. We have some five words over here in this list. We can see all these 5 words, which makes a set of 5 words. In these 5 words, they are identical except for one phoneme, for the first phoneme in each word that is different. Otherwise, the whole words are identical in form. And that change of the first phoneme in each word changes the meaning. That's why we have defined minimal sets as a set of more than 2 words that have different meaning, but they are identical in form except for one phoneme, and you can see in the example. So such set which has identical form except for one phoneme and they have different meaning, right? So such set is termed as minimal sets. So why do we use minimal sets, or why do linguists focus upon minimal sets? They focus upon minimal sets to examine which words can exist in language and which cannot. This practice and the knowledge is termed as phonotactics. What is phonotactics? Phonotactics is actually the study of the permitted arrangement of the sounds. What is the permitted arrangement of sounds or phonemes in words? It means that the sounds or the sign combinations, whether they are allowed in syllables or words of the language or not. So let me give you example, then it would be very much clear, and I'll be discussing it further to make you understand fully. See these 2 words, mig and nig. If you consult a dictionary for the meaning of these 2 particular forms, you will not find their meaning. Why? Because they are not English words. Since they are not English words, so these 2 words can give us an idea that they could be the English words. Why? There's nothing wrong in them, and why are not they English words? So they could be viewed as possible future English words because our phonological knowledge of the patterning of sounds in English words allow us to treat them as acceptable forms. Means we can see that they could be English words because there's nothing wrong in them. We can pronounce them easily. So pronouncing them easily, our pronunciation rules allow us to pronounce them. This means they could be some future words, future English words, right, in English language. So this permission of the pronunciation, why they are permitted, why are they have the permission to be pronounced? Because phonologically in our mind, in our brain, we have such permission for patterning such sounds in words, right? Whereas we see, on the other hand, see these examples like telep and talep, right, are also not English words. If you consult the dictionary for these 2 words, again you would not find the meaning of them. So why they could not be those 2 words in the previous lecture, right? You see, let me show you once. Mig and nig, they could be English words. Why? We can pronounce them. And why could not they be the future words? Because we can find in the pronunciation it's difficult to pronounce them, delap, tlap, and our mind, our brain, right, answers or suggests they should not be English words because they cannot be pronounced easily, right? So this means our phonological knowledge of the patterns of sounds do not allow these words to be treated as possible English words in English language. So I hope everything you listened today, you understood it very, very well. Let me just repeat the same phonotactics for you once more in order to make it very much clear, right? So I said that minimal sets we just studied, like fig, pig, dig, wig, big. In this 5 words set, we have got one difference of the phoneme of the first phoneme that makes their meaning different. So such words or such sets linguists use. Why do they use? They use it actually to determine, to see whether words that come in such lists, which words can be accepted as words, which cannot be, right? Such knowledge, where we can allow words and we do not allow words to be acceptable in language, is termed as phonotactics. What is phonotactics? It's the study of the permitted arrangement of the phonemes in words. Means which phonemes should be allowed to occur and which phonemes should not be allowed to occur in language. That is called phonotactics, right? See the example mig and fig. Again, mig and nig, I have just explained. I'm explaining it again. In these this pair, mig and nig, we consult dictionary, we will not find the meanings. Why? They are not English words, so how can we find their meanings? But our brain tells us that they are, since they could be pronounced easily, so our phonological knowledge of patterns of sounds in English words allow them to be treated as possible English words if they come to be used as English possible English words in future. On the other hand, we see a pair of words like delap and telab. We see that they cannot be pronounced easily. If they cannot be pronounced easily, we can think that our phonological knowledge of patterns of sounds do not allow them to be treated as possible English words. So if they are not treated as acceptable, of course they cannot be English words. So who is or what is defining them to be English words, or what is defining them not to be English words? That is phonotactics. So phonotactics is the study of the permitted arrangement of words in English language. I hope that you have understood fully this lecture. See you in next lecture. Thank you very much.